The past couple of years, there's been a small resurgence to make MPVs look better, whether sportier or tougher. And the problem with that is there's also been a demand for 7-seaters. However, people are straying away from it because of the high price tag. Hence, it gave birth to a new segment, the MPV slash crossover slash SUV segment. For Honda, they obviously have the Honda BRV. For the Toyota, they have the Toyota Rush. And for the Mitsubishi brand, there's also the Xpander Cross. This right here is a beefed up Suzuki Ertiga. Welcome to the Suzuki XL7. Now, the question that remains here is that, is sporty looking always better? Hence, naka-gym clothes ako. Bagay ba?
No! God, please, no! No!
Anyway, exactly. The point is that, is sporty looking always better? And is it enough to entice Filipino families to go for this type of vehicle? My name is Jeff Mosil and allow me to take you on this journey with the Suzuki XL7. Welcome to Philkotse.com, the #1 car portal in the Philippines.
This is a Philkotse car review.
This is a Philkotse car review. Review. Philkotse car review. The #1 car portal in the Philippines. Philkotse car review.
So here we are at the front face of the Suzuki XL7. Compared to the Ertiga is more of a classy, kind of luxurious, kind of chill vibe. The XL7 is more game time. So if you noticed, we also have a chrome strip wrapped around the grille, and all the way here, we have LED headlamps and LED DRLs that are as functional as they look. Ibig sabihin nun is, yes, maliwanag siya. Move on lower, we have black bumpers surrounding the fog lamps, and we also have faux skid plates. So here we are in the engine of the Suzuki XL7. This makes 103 horsepower and 138 Newton meters of torque. Fun fact, it's actually the same engine in the Suzuki Jimny and obviously the Suzuki Ertiga, but more on that later. The XL7 is fitted with a 4-speed automatic transmission. Nothing too fancy, but enough to pull its 1,700 kilograms of weight. So here we are in the wheel and tire setup of the Suzuki XL7. The first thing you would notice are that they're two-toned and that there's also a very unique star pattern going around the rim itself. As for tires, we have NSAVE tires that are fitted with 195/60 R16 tires. For the front brakes, we have disc brakes as usual, and for the back, we have drum brakes. Not really a problem considering that this car is a front-wheel drive layout. So here we are on the side of the XL7, and the first thing you notice is that it actually has plastic claddings that go all the way from the front to the very back, and they're really thick too. We also have sort of a garnish design here. They don't really do much, but they do look nice. As for side mirrors, we have the basic side mirror hazard lights. And one really nice feature about the Suzuki XL7 is that it actually has green tinted windows as a factory standard. They're not actually here for design, but what green windows do is that they actually reduce heat from coming into the vehicle. So with this really clear look, you wouldn't really have to put in heavy tint. So props to Suzuki Philippines for thinking of that. We also have a smart key function here. What this does is if you have a key and move on nearer to the car, you may actually automatically unlock the doors as well. We also have sort of a step sill design here that goes all the way to the back, although it really isn't a step sill, but it looks like it. And also a factory roof rail for your out-of-town needs. Moving over here, we also have the plastic cladding extending from the front, and that's what introduces us to the rear of the Suzuki XL7. So here we are in the rear of the Suzuki XL7, and the first thing you notice are that it has rather interesting LED tail lamps. LED tail lamps that actually go and hug around to the side of the XL7. Although, looking at these tail lamps, don't they remind you of a Swedish brand? So moving on, the XL7 actually has features that are pretty modern. For example, we have rear parking sensors right here. We also have a rear camera right here, and we also have a rear wiper system. Although the wiper system does seem a little too short for the rear windshield, although that should be okay. We also have reflectors on both sides, and we also have a faux skid plate right here, probably to protect you from reversing into a car parking lot. As for spare tire, it's actually not on the inside. It's an MPV, so it's actually right here below. Let's move on over to the cargo of the Suzuki XL7. What we have here is actually 153 liters of default cargo space. It also has 3 rows, so don't really expect much to fit in the rear cargo, although it's enough to fit 2 small-sized maletas. So here we are in the front seat of the Suzuki XL7, and if you're a driver, you'll automatically fall in love with it at first sight. The space is huge, and there are also a lot of cubby holes para malagay natin yung gamit natin. And what I like the most about the Suzuki XL7 is that it has a very unique cup holder system because it's actually refrigerated. So Suzuki meant to keep all your drinks cold at all times. Pero syempre, wag lang yung kape mo. We also have a D-shaped steering wheel right here that also has volume and call controls. And as for the seats, it's slightly bolstered, meaning medyo yumayakap siya sa'yo. It's very comfortable, although okay lang naman siya, it's perfect. Meron din tayong vertical seat adjustments, so perfect siya for even the smaller drivers. And as for steering wheel adjustment controls, it only goes up and down. I can't help but wish for telescopic adjustments. As for the instrument cluster, it is semi-digital but just enough to show us information on average fuel economy and range. So I like that very much as well. And one of my favorite features of this car is also this 10-inch head unit that already actually looks like a tablet. May mga kulang siyang features, for example, dito sa driver's side seat, wala tayong vanity mirror, although the passenger does have vanity mirrors. As for the rear view mirror, wala tayong dibber, so I think that's very odd that they removed that. And wala rin tayong speed sensing door locks, but that's okay because a lot of newer cars these days, wala ring feature nito. And wala tayong cruise control. So okay na rin at this price, but I wish we had them. So here we are in the second row of the Suzuki XL7. It is a 3-row row. However, it's more comfortable as with all vehicles kung dalawa lang kayo. And you also have an armrest that goes up and down. Maybe a small kid or a young adult would fit in the middle. Although even with the person in the middle, comfortable naman siya. So here is my position. And this was my driving position in the front. I stand at 5'10", and there's just enough leg room and space to go around it and be comfortable. Yun nga lang, the seats are not bolstered and they're more of a bench. Ibig sabihin ng bolstered is that hindi siya yumayakap sa'yo, but pretty average lang naman yun. We also have cubby holes on both sides as well as cup holders on each side as well. We also have an accessory charger in the back, although we would have preferred kung dalawa sila. Pero pwede na rin naman yung isa. We also have rear aircon controls right here that have 3 levels. It's enough to keep you and the people on the third row comfortable as well. So here we are in the third row of the Suzuki XL7, and if you're a tall person like me, medyo masikip yung legroom. However, the best feature about this car is that the second row moves for the third row's comfortability. Meron din tayong accessory port here for the first, second, and third. So hindi kayo mag-aagawan ng charger. However, the bad thing about this car is that the aircon controls are in the middle. So aircon.
It's mine.
Hindi.
It's mine.
Yun nga,
No.
medyo mag-aagawan kayo.
It's mine.
Yun nga lang. So here we are driving the XL7 around the streets of Manila, and the first thing I immediately noticed upon having a straight road to accelerate on is that it actually takes a while to pick up. And I think what's to blame here is the 1.5 K15B engine. That's also the same engine found in the Jimny. Either siguro masyado mabigat yung car or something, but it'll get you and do the job for you. Although yun nga lang, medyo matagal yung yung pag-pick up niya ng speed. We also have the air conditioning. The air conditioning is actually at the very highest level at this point. Although it really is a hot day. It's 44 degrees today, and the green tint or the green shade of window, as much as it should prevent heat from coming in, pag nabilad siya sa araw, talagang mainit. So that's also one thing to consider. Although, kung hindi ka naman maarte, hindi naman siya magiging problema. Pero if you're the tad who wants to be ice cold inside the car, then that's also something to consider as well. And one thing to also applaud Suzuki for is that the power steering is just wow. It's very feather-like, hindi siya mahirap at all, and you could actually steer the steering wheel with one hand. Pero wag niyo gagawin yon. But that's just to show how comfortable and how tight and how beautifully made the steering system of Suzuki is. Uy!
What the f...
Uy!
Uy, ano ba ginagawa mo?
Sorry. Na-excite lang. Cars were meant to be pushed to the limit. Ano ka ba? May insurance ba to?
Siyempre may insurance yan. Paano kung wala?
Kung wala, well, Moneymax has the best ones around. Just click the link on the description below and we'll send a quotation sent straight to your email. Remember, insurance is your family's assurance. So now let's move on over to our Philkotse Score. For aesthetics, because it's solely a beefed up, juiced up Suzuki Ertiga, there's really not much we can give to it based on the fact that getting a Suzuki Ertiga and going for aftermarket modifications, you would basically have the XL7. So with that, we're giving it a 3 out of 5. So as for performance, because of the fact that yes, it's supposed to be a 7-seater MPV, the engine is actually quite small. But we were able to register 13 kilometers per liter in the city, so that's not bad at all. So with that, we are giving it another 3 out of 5. So now moving on over to practicality, because of the fact that it is an MPV that actually seats 7 people and the fact that it has 3 rows, and with that, we also have refrigerated cup holders and a moving second row to make space for the third row, we are giving it a well-deserved 4.5 out of 5. So for value for money, the Suzuki XL7, even if it's priced at 1,068,000 pesos, that's still not bad compared to its competitors such as the Rush, the Xpander Cross, and the BRV. So for value for money, we are giving it a 4 out of 5. And now that we've seen the ins and outs of the Suzuki XL7, to sum up all the scores, we are giving the XL7 a well-deserved 3.5 out of 5. Yes, it's a beefed up Suzuki Ertiga, however, it is an MPV with suspension and aesthetic upgrades. It's also good for Suzuki Philippines because they gave their buyers obviously more options if they're looking for an MPV. If you want something simple, go for Suzuki Ertiga. If you want something a little bit macho, go for the XL7. And it's only for an additional 70,000 pesos only. That's actually not bad considering yung mga competitors niya such as the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross, the Toyota Rush, and the Honda BRV. And at the price point of 1,068,000 pesos, it's actually not bad and it's definitely an MPV worthy of your consideration.